Thank you, Tamara. Thank you to Coach Denson as well. And hey, we welcome in Brian Kelly, signing day for the class of 2018. Brian, welcome. Congratulations.
Well, so far so good. Our staff has done a great job, and Aaron Kearney, who heads up our recruiting department, Brian Polian, Mike Elston, who handed it off to Brian, have done an incredible job. Jazz Johnson, everybody associated. Katie, I could go on, Ryan, everybody associated with our recruiting efforts over the past year and a half, 2 years, have made this an incredible day. And remember, we had to move the calendar ahead to get to this day, being in December, not February. And obviously, the show that we're putting on today is one that it's not easy to do as well. So I want to thank everybody that has been able to marshal the forces and get together here in December.
Yeah, for the fans who might tune in today and kind of pop back on the recruiting grid and hear who the signees are, the early enrollees, for them to get a sense of what goes on behind the scenes years in advance and from so many of the staff members that you mentioned, what's that like?
Well, first of all, it's a plan that you have to have in place almost 18 months in advance to get to this day. So many recruiting visits, but targeted mailing, social media, on-campus visits. All of those things have to be orchestrated and planned well in advance, and the organization that it takes to do that, and quite frankly, the support from Jack Swarbrick, our athletic director, to be able to get out and go across the country. I think, we're going to sign players from over 12 different states. So this isn't get in the car and drive within 3 hours of campus. This is all over the country, and that takes a committed staff. And my coaching staff has been incredible. We've gone through, really almost 2 coaching staffs to get to this day as well. And that concerted effort to get here with this kind of class is really on the backs of really good hard work.
For you and your staff, what have the last few weeks been like since the end of the regular season, since Thanksgiving? Because you guys have a bowl game coming up in less than 2 weeks as well. I know you've been flying all over the place, making those last visits. What's that balance been like?
Well, for everybody, it's been the end of the season. You still have your football team that you have to train and get ready for a bowl game. You're doing your best to inform your players relative to what is in their best interest in terms of staying or going to the NFL. Then you have the recruiting. So there's a lot going on, a lot of balls in the air. So you have to be very intentional about all these things that you're doing on a day-to-day basis and still sign this class. And I thought our coaching staff did a great job of orchestrating all those things and spending the right amount of time with each one of those groups.
And we've alluded to it already, but the early signing period, this is the first year of that. Yep. We'll get you out on this note. What have you thought of it in action? I know you've been a proponent of it for a long time, wanted to see this day. Now that it's been here, what's it been like?
Well, it's started really well for us, and I think each one has a challenge, right? You're in a bowl game situation. If this is an earlier bowl game, maybe we're at a bowl site for a week while you're trying to do it, and that makes it more difficult. But again, I think it's a good situation. These kids are committed to a university, not a coaching staff. Certainly, there are relationships with coaches. Let's not, say that doesn't happen. But they want to go to a university, and for them to sign in December says a lot about why these kids should have this opportunity. I think at the end of the day, we're going to sign, 20 kids, hopefully. We'll see how that goes. That and enough is saying that the early signing day is something that we should have.
Well, top 10 recruiting class on paper. Brian, thanks so much for the time. Congratulations on another good class.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right.